This comment was in the context of us discussing post-viability abortions of healthy fetuses, meaning they were past the age of viability. If they had been born prematurely, they would have a good chance of surviving, and instead they were aborted, and by that I do mean they were killed. A lot of people don't want to believe that this is a thing that happens. They want to believe that anytime an abortion happens after viability, it's because of some kind of medical emergency. Either the woman's life is in danger or there's some sort of severe fetal anomaly that means that the child will be born and suffer a great deal. But the reality is, and we've talked about a lot of research to show this is the case, that most later abortions, and by that I usually mean 21 weeks or later, but even 24 weeks or later, are on healthy fetuses and not for medical emergencies. And so it's a very good question why someone would perform a D&E on a live, healthy fetus instead of just inducing labor with the intent of live birth. There are a lot of reasons that a doctor might do that. First of all, it is legal for them to do in at least 6 or 7 different places in the country. Second of all, they may believe that that is in the woman's best interest. Even if there is no medical emergency, if she is desperate to not want to be responsible for a living child, they may perform the abortion because they believe they are helping her by avoiding that situation. They may even believe it's in the child's best interest because a lot of people who support abortion see it as preventing a life from coming into existence rather than ending a life that exists. Of course, if we're talking about viable, healthy fetuses, that idea gets more and more ludicrous. It could also be that the physician agreed to do the D&E because they make a fortune when they do it. Abortions later in pregnancy can cost like $12,000. They are more complicated, they take multiple days, they are more dangerous, and so they're much more expensive than if you got an abortion earlier in pregnancy. In early 2022, when I was 28 weeks pregnant, I went to film undercover at a clinic in DC, and I brought $11,400 in cash with me. And when I paid them in cash, I asked if it was weird to be paying all in cash instead of like on credit card or something, and they said it wasn't weird. At that appointment, they didn't ask me anything about why I wanted an abortion. They didn't take any kind of medical history of the fetus. They took some medical history from me, like past surgeries and things like that, but they didn't ask me why I was getting an abortion at 28 weeks with no medical indication. And they certainly didn't discuss the possibility of labor induction with intent of live birth. It was understood from beginning to end that the reason I was seeking an abortion was to have a dead fetus. Post-viability abortions of healthy fetuses aren't about bodily autonomy. It's not about restoring your bodily rights because you could do that with live birth. Aborting healthy, viable fetuses isn't about bodily rights, it's about the right to a dead fetus. People seeking these abortions don't want to be responsible for a live child for a variety of reasons, and abortion helps them make sure that they aren't.